Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the workshop. It's actually, this is kind of where I store stuff. I have a few of my tools in here and that kind of stuff. But, and yes, before you comment below that, hey, you really need to clean up, I know that. And it was clean, and then I started doing some moving around and bringing some stuff in and doing all kinds of different things. So it's a little out of sorts, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. It serves a purpose. Today's purpose, and the reason I wanted to bring you into the workshop, is to show you the restoration of a Froe. So you may recall in the last episode of Ox in the Wild, I began the build of a shanty, so a semi-permanent long hunter, early settler type of shelter. And one of the things I wanted to do is to, instead of having a tarp or canvas or something like that, or oiled canvas or something like that, I wanted to have a wooden shingles or shakes on the roof. Now, to do that, I'm going to make them myself. I will be completely honest, not something I've done before. But a few years ago, I knew I had this. A few years ago, I had, in an auction, I bought this, and you can see it's not in the best shape. I've not used it. I don't know how old it is. It's pretty old. It would probably work the way it is, but I want to clean it up a little bit and sharpen it up. Thought I'd invite you along for this, and yes, hopefully you'll see this used again as we're making the shingles for the roof. So join me. First thing I'm going to do, though, is try to get some of the rust off. So I'm just using cordless drill with a wire brush on it, and we'll get as much as we can off, and we'll go from there. So here we are in the shop. So the point here, once again, this is where my bench grinder's at. So I'm just going to grind down a little bit of an edge, kind of sharpen it up, and we'll go back, treat it, and at some point I will probably come back and really get this to the point where it's as smooth as I possibly can. But I think it'll be okay for where we're at right now, especially get an edge and then treat it and keep it indoors. And it's been indoors for a long time. But I mean, once again, this thing's probably, who knows how old it is. Once again, I bought it in an auction from a guy who was in his mid to late 80s, maybe even early 90s, and I've had it, I guess I've had it probably 10, 12 years. And so who knows? I don't know that there's any way to check it, but let's grind it down and see what we can do. So welcome back to the workshop. So all I'm going to do is basically use a light coat of regular motor oil. You can use WD-40, but as a protector, I mean, for what this is, this works just fine. Just get it on here, just kind of rub it in real good. It'll obviously, anything you need to protect that you don't use, and it's even any of your metal tools, your shovels, rakes, axes, any of that stuff that doesn't get used regularly, especially something you would normally use in the spring or the fall or summer, like your garden tools, it's always good to coat them down with some oil over the winter time, and that helps protect them. So basically, just one little dollop, and it's set and ready to go. So what I'm going to do, ultimately, I will probably have to replace this handle. I would say it's not the original, but it could be. But you can kind of see it's a little worn down, but we'll see if it works for what we need it to work for. So we'll put that back on. Now, ultimately, well, that might not go on. I don't think I put it on backwards. I guess it's just worked itself to, there we go. It just had a way it liked to be. So what we're going to do is, I'm not going to make shingles today because my main focus was to try to do this and to get it ready. But what I will do, we'll go outside. I've got some wood out there. We'll just see how it goes through the wood and do our best to see if it'll be ready for when we get ready to make shingles, otherwise known as shakes. When we get ready to do that, we'll do that here on the channel as well. Let's go outside. Welcome outside. As you can see, it's a pretty windy day, kind of overcast, but we won't be out here long. So I've just got this piece of wood. This thing's been dried out for a long time. So there's a lot of splits in it. We can talk about why that happens on another time and how that really pertains into making the shakes or the shingles. But basically, you just take this, in case you've never seen it work, and you can go across, or you can, once you go across, you can either go across all the way down based on the type of shingle you're making, or you go across and then you go into halves, and then half, 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 half. We'll talk about that once again at a later time. Right now, let's just see how this works. What I like to do, and like I said, I've not made shingles, but just playing with the Froe, what I like to do is start back here instead of in the middle. That creates a kind of a bite into the wood, and you go from there. Normally I'd use a metal, a wooden mallet or a rubber mallet. Wood works best, but for the purpose of this and this test, we're just going to use a regular framing hammer. You basically just split it open. So I think it'll work, especially with better wood. This wood's just been sitting here. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Got a lot more content coming out, more knots and how-tos. When I say knots, knot tying and rope work. Got some more build on the shelter. And check me out on Instagram at ox_in the wild. We'll see you next time right here.